This is Bobby with East Carolina Crash Dad's Jeep in Greenville, North Carolina. This is a quick video walk around of the Ram TRX, basically showing you some of the features and how to use the new truck. Just a couple quick things. You can turn on your vehicle remotely with the remote start by double tapping the 2. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off right now just because it is loud standing on the outside. You do have your tow hooks on the front, your camera on the front here. You may occasionally need to wipe it with a microfiber cloth to keep it clean. You do have your adjustable bead lock wheels with the hex head here. You can adjust that and have different tire pressures, be able to deal with off-road situations. We do put wheel locks on the vehicle, make sure somebody doesn't steal these nice massive tires. The key for that is in the glove box, so that you can rotate and change your tire. To open the door, you can put your hand in the door handle and it'll unlock as long as you have the key within 3 feet, and you can hit the button to lock it back. On the mirror, you do have your convex mirror, which you can adjust manually with your finger, and then you also have your blind spot monitor triangle that will light up when somebody's in your blind spot. Inside, you've got your automatic up and down windows. Front 2 will go up and down automatically when you tap that button. You've got your mirror controls. This is your button for your power folding mirrors. And then as far as your power seats go, you can move the seat up and down by pulling and pushing up that button, your recline, forward and back, and then you have your 4-way lumbar. These seats are heated and ventilated. I'll show you the buttons to be able to get to that in the screen shortly. And then you've also got your controls for your foot pedal, and when you get your foot pedal, your seats and your mirrors all preset, you hit S and then 1 and it'll save that preset in, or S and then 2. You can actually even pair that to the key. If you have the key in the vehicle, when you save your setting, it'll save that setting to that specific key. Just going down the line here, your automatic headlamps do turn on and off at night. They turn on when it gets dark out. To stay on auto, it will allow your automatic high beams to activate, as well as your rain sensitive windshield wiper. Just as long as you're set on interval and you have your high beams turned on, they will function properly. Your automatic high beams will dim when you approach somebody, has their lights on, and the windshield wiper in the interval section there will turn the windshield wiper on and off and what speed is necessary to wipe windshield off of the rain. Now, as far as other little things here, your parking brake, you pull it in order to set your parking brake. You hold your foot on the brake and push in to release that parking brake. And as far as your lights go outside of that, you do have your fog lamps with this button, and this will turn on your rear cargo lamp. These are your dimmers for your screen and for your ambient lighting inside the vehicle, where you have different accents where it lights up. The LEDs can be dimmed down if it's a little too bright. And then just getting in here, push to start. So just hold your foot on the brake and push the red button to start the truck up. You can see your screen here. Turn this fan down just a little bit. So you've got your digital speedometer, which you can scroll down and customize to show your vehicle information screen. Here, if you hit your right arrow on your vehicle information screen, you can see all your different vehicle specs: oil temp, oil pressure, oil life, battery voltage, your air intake temp, engine torque, engine power, air fuel ratio. All these things boost will also be available inside your 12-inch touchscreen if you go to your performance pages, but you can have it show here inside your center gauge cluster screen as well. Now, going through some of the other screens here, you can see your off-road pages, and what your pitch and roll is. If you are taking this off-road, it does have different wheel articulation settings when you change modes. Down here you can change the mode, or you can do it in the touchscreen. But once you go off-road, you'll open up a lot of different options. You got your performance pages here, which will show you 0 to 60, 0 to 100, and drag times if you are going to be racing with the truck. Show your G's and how much G's the truck is putting upon your body. And you can see lap times and that sort of thing in your performance pages. Fuel economy, when you scroll through, again, these pages, you just hit the right arrow and you can scroll between trip A and trip B for your average fuel economy. Same with this screen. And then you do have trailer tow options as far as trip meter for that, and how active or how much percentage your trailer brake is currently activating. So you can change the gain here. This will actually activate your trailer brakes if you are planning to tow with the vehicle. Just important if you're towing over 2,500 pounds to set your trailer brake gain properly, so that you can get the maximum amount of trailer brake power out of that trailer's independent brakes. When you're going down further here, you do have your audio, shows you what radio station you're on. Just something worth mentioning, on the back of your steering wheel you have your audio controls. So in between your paddle shifters, these buttons here will allow you to change what station and what volume. The right hand side is your volume, the left hand side here is what station you're on. And so you can adjust that while you're driving. When you hit your OK button here on the screen setup, you can scroll through and adjust what's in the corners here, like your compass direction and your temperature. You can customize that to show things, for instance, like your range or oil temp or whatever you may want to keep your eye on. The defaults are pretty much what most people would want, but you can customize that to your own setting. And diagnostic screen if you are going to be doing alternate tunes and want to diagnose the issues you may be having by going outside of factory settings. Outside of that, on the steering wheel, you do have your controls here for that screen. This is your Bluetooth controls. This will answer a phone call, and this will ignore or hang up on a phone call. And then your voice activation button here will be used to either talk to the radio or to your phone. If you have an Apple phone, for instance, and you have it paired through Bluetooth, you can push and hold down on this button and talk to your vehicle, to your phone. So when you push and hold down on that, that will allow you to send a text message, for instance, using Siri. If you're plugged in through USB and want to use your Apple CarPlay maps, you can navigate using that for your navigation. You can tell Apple Siri anyhow where to navigate to, and just distinguish between the two functions. You tap and it talks to the vehicle, and you push and hold and that talks to your phone. So just something to keep in mind. Cruise controls, pretty self-explanatory. Activate your cruise with that and hit the button to set your cruise. Your paddle shifters you can use to manually change your gears. These paddle shifters can be enabled or disabled. Basically, when you're hitting that button, it will potentially rev your engine up higher. If you don't mean to activate those paddle shifters, you hit them by accident, you just push and hold down on that button and it will release it from shift mode and go back to shifting automatically. Between your screen and your steering wheel, you do have your controls for your four-wheel drive. It is an all-time four-wheel drive. Basically, this four-wheel drive will get this fly out of here. Basically, this four-wheel drive will allow you to do an axle lock, go into four-wheel drive low for slow speeds up to 25 or so miles an hour, and then four-wheel drive high for up to 55 miles an hour. Four-wheel drive auto will serve most of your purposes, but if you do want to do the axle lock, that will allow you to lock your rear axle for more traction if you've got your wheels touching there and not in the front, for instance. And it will make those wheels spin at the same speed. So just something to be aware of. Only need to do that in four-wheel drive mode. When you're scrolling through your different modes, you do have your screen pop up showing you mud and sand, for instance. It'll tell you if your traction control is being disabled. In four-wheel drive, lock and low, you will have to change here before you change your mode to go into, say, rock or Baja mode. So just some things to play with, but it will change your shift points and also change how the truck reacts with this articulation with the Blackhawk suspension system. So going down the line here, or at least this parking brake, you do have launch control here. Once you take it in and you are registered with this vehicle, you'll be able to activate launch control. When it's in just dealer status, it does not allow us to use that particular feature. But on your radio, you do have redundant controls. You've got your controls for your climate here on the left hand side, would change your driver temperature and passenger temperature on the other side. You can change where the air is blowing with mode. These are your fan speed up and down. Auto will maintain that fan speed until it reaches that cabin temperature that you set it to. Fan is going to continue to blow. It's a hot day, so I'm going to turn it back down a little bit here. So as far as on your radio, of course, your volume and your tuner, these buttons can be used just like the buttons on the back of your steering wheel to change your station or what volume. And then you can hit that button and turn off the radio, or hit this button to browse through some of the radio stations on Sirius XM. This does have Sirius XM 360L. That does open up your station and on-demand content that you can have available. You do get a 6-month trial of satellite radio, and it will learn your listening habits and make suggestions on some of these type of related on-demand shows that some usually are only available on the SiriusXM app. So it has even more content than your typical satellite radio. You can set up a profile. Once you create that profile, you'll be able to hear those related radio stations. So you've got your full screen here for your satellite radio. And you go down the line here, your climate, or excuse me, your controls will allow you to get to your heated and ventilated seat and heated steering wheel. You can see the ventilated seat is already active. When you do remote start, it will turn that ventilated seat on if it's more than 80 degrees outside, and your heated seat will turn on, and heated steering wheel will turn on if it's less than 40 degrees outside. You do have your automatic dim and mirror controls here. Backup camera, if you want to activate it while you're driving, you can, and you can, for instance, zoom down at the hitch, or you can look at the surround cam as well and see either the forward facing or rear facing camera from that screen. And you can activate the forward camera on the fly. And for off-road use, they have your lines so you can see where you're heading. Of course, the passenger side does have your heated seats as well and ventilated seats. Now, beyond the radio controls, you do have your Bluetooth as well as your AM, FM radio stations. You can set your presets independently, and when you want to change modes, you can switch in here in the touchscreen, or on these radio controls mounted on the steering wheel, you can hit this little middle button, and that will change between your mode or to change between your favorites depending on what side you hit on the steering wheel. While you're driving, you can have your map show up in a sort of window screen there, but you can also go full screen. These bottom buttons will basically take you to your full screen mode of that particular app that you're accessing. For instance, your phone or your navigation or your radio, they'll all go full screen using those buttons. When you go to the top left here, you got your home button, and this will allow you to do the split screen so that you can have your nav on top, for instance, and then say your radio on the bottom. So you can customize that, and you can switch them around, and you can change it to comfort and those sorts of things with the home screen, so you can choose which card you want on top and one on the bottom. Going along the line here, the navigation, very easy to use. It has pinch to zoom type functions. You can also tilt and tell it and use your buttons here to zoom in and out, change your view, you know, depending on how you want your map to look. So the functions of the navigation are very similar to every other navigation system out there, but it does have predictive text. It will find a location or an address easily for you to start to fill in the blanks for you. So, you know, we're here in Greenville, and we've got Greenville Boulevard where we're located, and you start to type it in, and if you search, right now it's offline, but you will be able to search that address and find a particular road, and it'll navigate you there. And you can do points of interest, lots of different things. When you go to your where to screen, you can set your home address, for instance, or find nearby options as far as points of interest. Very easy to use if you want to talk to the system while you're driving. Again, to use the radio voice command buttons, you tap that button and it will talk to the radio, and you can tell it an address or an intersection, or change the radio station, activate your heated seats, all kinds of things that you can do with your voice activation. Again, when you want to talk to your phone, to send a text via Siri, or to navigate using Apple CarPlay, when you're plugged in through USB to your Apple phone, you push and hold and it'll talk to your phone. Once you have your phone paired, you will be able to activate your favorites. If you have hot or speed dial, folks, you can set your favorites and it'll be available. You can access your contacts and everything right through the screen, but of course the big advantage through Bluetooth is hands-free, so you can just use the buttons on your steering wheel to make it and receive phone calls. When you go down to your apps here, there's a ton of additional content that's available on these trucks, and you can customize it. Say if you want to see this travel link screen with ease of access, you get a 5-year trial to this, so that's something that's nice. While you're driving, you can see things like where the cheapest gas is, or how close the next fuel station is, and it'll even navigate you there when you hit go now. All kinds of nice things with travel link. You can even check the weather and see what the fronts look like as they're coming in. So lots of cool technology that's built into the touchscreen. But say you want to take this and make it available on your bottom screen, you can drag and drop, and you can pull this down and replace certain icons if you're planning on using it more frequently. You can see a ton of different apps that you can drag and drop down here. Most of what's set by default is what people would like, but you basically you basically can adjust all of these settings on your own. If you go to, for instance, your Send and Go app, you download an app, you can pre-plan your navigation and have it show up on your nav here just with a quick click of a button, and that way you can pre-plan your navigation before you even get in your truck. So there's a ton of options. It's a connected radio, so you can do remote start from your app, your Uconnect app. The connection also gives you capability for roadside assistance and SOS right there in the screen, or up here in your console. You do have access to that. You get a 5-year 60,000 mile roadside assistance plan that will come and take care of you if you get a flat tire, you lock your keys in your car, you have a dead battery, need a jump or need a tow. All those things are included with the truck and carry with the truck, and not necessarily specific to a driver. You can access your TRX pages in here. You can see all your different modes and how they affect the different settings within the shift points, and also the suspension and steering. You know, most of these are going to be for off-road use, and will require you to go into your four-wheel drive low or four-wheel drive high in order to access them. When you go in deeper, you can see your performance pages. On the 12-inch screen, you can show, for instance, your gauge cluster. You can see your track times. Once it loads here, I'll be able to show you a few things that you can go in and customize. If you are using this truck for performance use, these can be handy to be able to keep an eye on things that, for instance, may get hot. And if you're using it vigorously, you know, just to keep in mind and to keep it within its best performance. So you can see your different gauges all here, just like we had in the gauge cluster here, but you got it on your display, which if you have a passenger with you, you can keep an eye on things. Don't necessarily recommend watching these things while you're driving, but it is available if you're driving slowly. You know, these sorts of things can be beneficial. You can even take a snapshot of these things and have it sent to your app, and you can access those or share it on Facebook and that sort of thing if you're into that. You do have a ton more settings to access. Say for instance you want to change your blind spot monitoring to chime at you when you have somebody in your blind spot. I usually set that for people, but that's totally up to you. If you just want your light coming on and not chiming at you when somebody's in your blind spot and you have your turn signal on, you can disable that. All these things are available to disable. The forward collision warning, for instance, you can set to just a warning instead of active braking. It will pulse those brakes to begin with and then actively brake if you are coming up on somebody very quickly. So that can be something that you may want to adjust to your own preference. Something I always show folks as well as the doors and locks. For instance, if you want to have your all doors or just your driver door unlock when you hit the unlock button on your key fob, or you put your hand in the door handle. Some folks will want just the driver door, depending on how secure area maybe you're coming into or coming out of. So all these things are customizable in your settings, and you can scroll through and see all sorts of things. For instance, your aux switches, which are down here, you can customize as far as momentary or on off, and you can add a ton of different accessories and not have to drill holes, adding some additional auxiliary switches to be able to turn off, for instance, a light bar or something like that. Down below, finishing up with the touchscreen here, just something to mention. You know, the navigation here is great. It will eventually require updates to the map, but if you're plugged in through USB, if you haven't ever seen Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you plug in your phone through USB and you can mirror the phone's navigation onto the touchscreen. You do have to have Siri active in order to use the map functions and to be able to tell Siri where to go for your navigation. For Android, you do have to download the Android Auto app, and you do have to plug in through USB, and you have to keep in mind that it does use your personal data on your cell phone, so it will show things like that navigation and other apps like Pandora or other music apps, Waze for instance, which is a popular navigation app. So all of that is required to plug in through USB and use a high quality cable. Beyond that, you do have some additional buttons here. This will allow you to maintain braking speed in a four-wheel drive situation, speed control, and then this will allow you to turn your traction control off if you need to let your wheels spin. You can turn off on your front and rear sensors on the fly with those buttons. When you get to the colder months, you do have a rear defrost button there that will actually also activate your heated mirrors. Beyond the controls there's of course a middle console here that will have your wireless charging pad. You just slide your phone in here, and if you have a case that it can read through and a glass back style phone that has wireless charging, you'll be able to see this blue light turn on when it is active and charging your phone. Cup holders, of course, and console. You've got your USB here. Now this is for charging only. The ones here that have the little squiggly arms are for data, so that will carry your cell phone data. And you can see your console as well as an inverter built in here for your 110 volt applications. It is a 400 watt, so won't handle everything, but it'll handle charging laptops and maybe a small power drill. Your dual glove boxes, and then you do have your books and everything in here. There's some warnings about driving this truck because it is a performance truck. There's your wheel lock key, just make sure that stays with the truck. Anybody that's buying a performance truck like this, always recommend maintaining safe speeds and you know, being in a controlled environment. If not, you do have your mirror here, which when you flip that button will activate the camera, so that you can see an unobstructed view behind the Ram. And then these buttons will allow you to dim the brightness or change how high that or how low that camera is pointing. Your rear sliding glass buttons are here. Opens the window in the back. This will remotely unlock your tailgate. And then if I hadn't dropped the key down below the seat, you can do that on the key fob as well. These are your dome lights, home garage door opener. If you're planning on setting a home garage to this truck, clear the codes by holding those two buttons for 10 seconds. Hold your garage door opener close to the remote receiver here in the truck and push and hold down on the button you want to set for 10 seconds along with the button for the garage door opener. Sometimes that'll be enough to save it, but if you need to set it using a rolling code garage door opener, you may need to hit the learn button on your garage door opener, come out and push and hold on this button, release for 2 seconds, push and hold for 2 seconds, release, push and hold for 2 seconds and release. And typically if you're within that 30-second or 60-second time that the learn code has available, you'll be able to set that remote door to your home link setting here inside your truck. A few other things to cover just so you're fully aware of all the options on your truck. In the back you do have an inverter as well, and then you have your heated and ventilated seats for your rear passengers, and then USB-A and USB-C to be able to charge devices. These seats do recline. If you're sitting down in the seat and you pull up on this lever, it will let you slide that seat, the bottom of the seat, down and forward so that the back passengers can recline their seats. Inside you do have your flip up storage bin holders, so stuff's not rolling around if you have it underneath the seats. But if you want the full flat area back here to be able to store stuff, of course both seats flip up and you can easily put stuff back here. Inside you also do have your Ram storage bins. The Ram bins are very handy. You can use these like coolers, for instance, or keep things secured away. These little sleeves will pop out if you want to dump ice that may have been put in there, or if you're wanting to clean it out. These all-weather floor mats can be sprayed off and of course used as all-weather mats. I'll make sure that's secure in there before it gets put on the truck today. Spray and bed liner, as well as the tow hooks. So these hooks can be moved along. You just unscrew using the little inside wheel here, and once they're loose you can drag these down and set them anywhere along that rail. Dampened tailgate and your spray and liner. To turn on your cargo lamps from back here, you can hit this soft button there and that'll turn that on. That'll turn on the cargo lamp as well as that rear lamp. And tow hitch receiver, I wouldn't try to tow more than say 7,000 pounds with this truck. It is a performance truck and it can tow, but it's geared for more so for performance than towing. Then you have your trailer brake connections here. This is 4-pin, this is your 7-pin in case you do hook up a trailer. Tow hooks on the rear. So it does have the Blackhawk Bilstein shocks, so that's something that will allow you to customize this truck and make it possible to go in all different terrains. Just something worth mentioning about these seats. This is an Alcantara suede as well as a Natura leather, so just something to keep in mind when you're keeping care of these trucks. Follow these guidelines and that'll help to make sure these seats last a long time and stay nice and clean. Other than that, if there are any questions about the truck, I'm happy to help. Again, it's Bobby at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Congratulations on the 2021 Ram TRX. If you do have questions, please reach out to me at 252-902-9111. I'll also have my business card in the glove box with the roadside assistance number on the back, and you'll have my cell phone number on that as well. But thank you so much for your business. Congratulations again. It's a beautiful truck. I hope you have a lot of fun with it. Thanks so much. Have a great day.